we're mimicking a situation where you might be doing a recruitment maneuver, low flow state, a bronch, where the nitric is just pumping into the circuit right now, but with a low flow, it's not going anywhere. So it's building up to the critical value of 100 parts per million. It would normally alarm telling you that it's getting high. That if you accidentally hit alarm silence and didn't pay attention to it, it would keep the climb. But when it gets to 100 parts per million of NO, it will activate the shutdown sequence. And when this occurs, you'll see a prompt on the screen with a couple of instructions. One would be to activate the emergency console. But keep in mind, if you do that, the low flow state, if it's continuing, the sample line is still going to detect that 100 parts per million. So this is the alarm that you'll get. This is where it's telling you to switch to the backup console. But if you haven't rectified the flow situation, the sample line that's still in line is still going to read that high nitric level. So at that point, you would have to disconnect the patient as an option and flush the circuit to get rid of the buildup of nitric. When you do that and you hit accept, the sample line will no longer be reading 100 parts per million. You just reset your dose and you should be back in business. Now the alarm state is still connected here. So let me just turn this off so we can see what it would be doing for you in the real world.
Okay, I like it. So we definitely want to flush the circuit as a first step to help remove that excess buildup so that you help prevent the alarm. But most importantly, it's important to recognize for safety purposes that when the alarm happens, nitric oxide delivery stops and you have to resume it. And that's how you do it.
You have to get the flow going. You need flow to go. My recommendation would be anytime you're generating a low flow state and a procedure that you know ahead of time would actually be just to set this to 0, because what that's doing is telling the machine to divert the nitric out the back of the machine as room air. This way you are preventing the problem from even starting. So, but if you happen to forget and you did the low flow maneuver, recruitment maneuver, bronch, something of that nature, the nitric will build up, as you can see, quite rapidly. And when it gets to either 100 parts per million of nitric or over 3 parts per million of NO2, it says interrupting nitric delivery. What that actually is it's stopping nitric delivery for safety. And you'd have to flush the existing circuit in order to resume nitric delivery safely.
Well, what you've just shown us is that if you pause it to 0 for a second to do whatever you need to do, the recruitment maneuver, suctioning, bronchoscopy, you then have to resume it by simply touching into 0 to make it 20 to resume the flow of nitric oxide, and that will prevent all of those alarms from happening.
Correct.
Great. Thank you.